It's like 8-9 weeks to Christmas, and look at this. The supply chain thing is bad. It's not getting better. We have footage. This is from the Long Beach port out there near L.A. All those cargo containers, not supposed to be stacked this high. And take a look at this. These trucks online for miles and miles and miles. Yeah, this is highly, highly abnormal. It's not supposed to be like this. And also, closer to the ships, look at this, stagnant. We have huge problems, too few truckers, too many regulations, a great big mess. And of course, Joe Biden is not up to the task. He pretends that he is, but we saw it last night. Were you watching the town hall? It was ugly, it was pathetic, it was a little bit funny, but mostly sad.
What I've recently done, and people said, we doubted we could get it done, I was able to go to the private ports with 40% of all products coming into the United States of America on the West Coast go through Los Angeles and what am I doing here?
It wasn't just a loss for a word, it was lost for a thought. Where the hell am I? What am I doing here? Great question, Joe. And Americans across the country are asking that as well. Take a look. No president has ever taken a dive like this, all right? Down 11%, 11.3%. Some polls have them below 40% in approval. This is really, really bad stuff for a president. This is a crisis, but if you were watching the CNN town hall, it was a great big party because they rigged the whole thing.
I want to welcome the 46th President of the United States, President Joe Biden.
It's no big deal. You think that was a representative audience? Okay, those were hardcore far left. Who knows? But they were handpicked, and boy, they cheered like crazy. But they can only help Joe so much with those cheers. I mean, sooner or later, the questions come, and it's on him. He was asked about the border. Have you been there? Are you going to go? And that kind of threw him.
Do you have plans to visit the southern border?
I've been there before, and I haven't. I mean, I know it well. I guess I should go down, but the whole point of it is I haven't had a whole hell of a lot of time to get down. I've been spending time going around looking at the $900 billion worth of damage done by hurricanes and floods and weather and traveling around the world. But I plan on, now my wife Jill has been down. She's been on both sides of the river. She's seen the circumstances there. She's looked into those places.
All right, Joe, look, if you want cookies, go see Dr. Jill Biden. That's Dr. Jill Biden, okay? But the border, that's on you. You say you don't have time. You don't have time to go to this national security crisis. You have time to eat ice cream. You have time to go to Delaware every weekend, it seems like. What else happened?
You notice you're not seeing a lot of pictures of kids lying on top of one another with, looks like tarps on top of them.
We've seen the pictures, Joe. We actually have television. People have television. It may be a big treat for you to see the TV, but we have seen this, and we know that you're asleep, that you don't seem to care whatsoever. Look, they were very gentle with him last night, no pressure whatsoever. But again, you can only help this guy so much. I mean, he is very, very weird.
Just in terms of inflation, because you had told us at a town hall, I think it was in July, that this was just near-term inflation. The Wall Street Journal recently talked to like 67 financial experts.
All right, you see what's going on here? He's like this for some reason. People noticed, they made fun of it, and they succeeded.
Police officers, emergency responders be mandated to get vaccines, and if not, should they be stay at home or let go?
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes. And the crowd goes wild. Yes, they should stay home. Yes, they should be let go. And the crowd goes wild. Huh. Talk about rigged. That's an interesting crowd there. Let's let him go into a bit more detail, though, on the COVID situation.
I waited until July to talk about mandating because I tried everything else possible. The mandates are working. The two things that concern me, one are those who just try to make this a political issue. Freedom. I have the freedom to kill you with my COVID. No, I mean, come on, freedom.
Freedom. Freedom. See how dismissive he is of the term? You know, there are a lot of things that we can make 99, 99.9, even 100% of the country do if we take away their freedom. We don't like this. And he, in his own way, is being very, very revealing. There's more.
The second one is that, you know, the gross misinformation that's out there. Like what they're saying about my buddy Colin Powell, and he was my friend, he passed away. Colin Powell was vaccinated and he still died. Well, he knew he had serious underlying conditions and it would be difficult. He clearly would have been gone earlier had he not gotten the vaccine.
Talk about gross misinformation. Clearly, he would have gone earlier had he not gotten the vaccine. Joe Biden doesn't know that. He can't know that. And if he's been told that, whoever told him that could most likely have been totally wrong. Misinformation. Where did they get that from? Dr. Jill Biden? Okay. It doesn't work that way. All right, folks, it's a bad situation with the president. They can't keep it a secret. They can pretend everything is normal. It's not. Want to talk about January 6th for a moment? The Democrats are still trying to score political points out of this day, exploit this day, hurt Donald Trump, hurt his supporters. How do they do that? By exaggerating it, and shaming half the country, trying to connect Trump supporters to that day. One of their weapons are the cops from Capitol Hill. The Capitol Hill police and some Metro police officers, they've been exploiting since the very earliest on this. Do you remember these guys at the hearing a few months ago? They're still hanging around. They still want attention, and we're going to give it to them. But first, this is what happened a couple of months ago.
We got people right now in front of the Justice Department asking to release some of the very same people to be released, even though we are testifying about the trauma and the agony, everything that happened to us. It's pathetic.
He's an armed Capitol Hill police officer saying that Republican members are pathetic, and he's still out there making noise, and he's still a Capitol Hill cop. Next.
The indifference shown to my colleagues is disgraceful.
That speaks for itself. This drama queen has been out there. Very strange character. You know, he has that Southern accent, but it looks like he's a child of the Beltway, and he's looking to exploit this big time. That brings me to Harry Dunn. Let's take a look at him.
I use an analogy to describe what I want as a hitman. If a hitman is hired and he kills somebody, the hitman goes to jail. But not only does the hitman go to jail, but the person who hired them does. There was an attack carried out on January 6th, and a hitman sent them.
And the hitman, he says, is Donald Trump. A uniformed Capitol Hill police officer making wildly partisan statements along with his friends there. It's totally unprofessional. It should not be happening. But what's worse, these guys are still on Capitol Hill with their guns, on Twitter, saying all kinds of highly political things. And guess what? They're kind of celebrities now. People want to meet these guys. Oh, and Dunn, the last guy, he's saying awful things on Twitter. Take a look at this. He makes some observation about the sunset, but he signs off with F. Steve Bannon. F. Steve Bannon. Now, Steve Bannon may be a witness on Capitol Hill. If he responds to the subpoena, if it all gets worked out, he's going to be there with a gun. Is that right? Is that professional? Is that what we're looking for from a cop? Jon Stewart wants to meet Harry Dunn, and he gets to meet Harry Dunn. They made a big deal about that. Paris Hilton, remember her? She met Harry Dunn. He was happy to meet Paris. Paris was happy to meet Harry. Adam Kinzinger, it looks like they're going to rent a boat and go on a picnic or something like that together. Don Lemon of CNN likes to take the Capitol Hill 4 out for drinks after the show, all this stuff. They're having a great time. Meanwhile, a Capitol Hill police officer is also on duty who shot and killed Ashley Babbitt, who, as we all know, is unarmed and, from our perspective, received no warning whatsoever. There's not one professional police department in the country that would say that was an authorized use of deadly force. Something is really wrong with America right now. Everything is kind of backwards.